readings of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, reading chapter 21, Madhya Lila chapter 21, entitled The Opulence and Sweetness of Krishna. Today we're reading texts 90 through 100. 91 through 100. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakara Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dasatarni Panchakalpatrubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyavacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So, Hare Krishna. This is text 91. Before we do 91, I just wanted to, we have to go a little bit back, I think, to review something here. Text 90 is giving, it says, the verse goes, Tridishvara Shabdera Artha Guda Arahai, Tri Shabde Krishnera Chinlokakai. There is a very deep meaning in the word Tridishvara, which indicates that Krishna possesses three different lokas or natures. So I was looking, this Tridishvara, where is this word coming from? It actually, we have to go back the first time in this chapter. It goes way back to text number, 33. 33 it is. And it is where is quoted one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Swayam tasam satyati shayas chadisha swarajya lakshmyapta samastakama balim haradvis chira lokapalai kirita koti dita padapita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the master of the three worlds and the three principal demigods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. No one is equal to or greater than him. By his spiritual potency, known as Swaraja Lakshmi, all his desires are fulfilled. While offering their dues and presents in worship, the predominating deities of all the planets touch the lotus feet of the Lord with their helmets. Thus they offer prayers to the Lord. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, third canto, text verse 21. So a lot of verses quoting here in this chapter from third canto, where we were reading also from Srimad Bhagavatam class. So this, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about how this Tridishvara, or actually even in the synonyms here, it says Tridishvara, we have three, just like we have three, it's practically the same in English. But we have Dayam Stuvam Tasya Yasyas Trisandyam. We have the 3 sandhyas that we should be remembering our spiritual master, worshiping him. We sing every day. And Bhagavad Gita, there's also this Trivida Narakasyatam Dwaram Nashanam Atmanam. The 3 gates to hell are there. Trivida, the different, Vida means different kinds. 3 kinds of Narakasyatam, the gates to hell. Lust, anger, and greed, like that. So, what are some other trees? So Trividya is different form. We have another trees. 3 guna maya, 3 guna maya bhavir. What? Huh? And Trigunya Vishaya. This actually, so the word, the tree, sometimes it takes different forms in Sanskrit. We have, here's Tradisha, and Trigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas mainly deal with the 3 modes of Trigunya Vishaya Veda, Nishtrigunya Bhavardhana. They mainly deal with the 3 modes of material nature. So here also, Tradisha. So here in the word for word of the verse, text 33, Tradisha means the master of the 3 planets, namely Goloka, Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, and the material world, or the master of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kirodakshay Vishnu, or the master of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, or the master of the 3 worlds, material planetary systems, higher, middle, and lower. So these has actually been explained since that text 33 is going on to explain all these different, how Krishna is the Lord of all these different 3s. 37 it is there. Text 37, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that Srijami Tani Yuktoham Haro Harati Tadvasha Vishvam Purusha Rupena Paripati Trishakti Drik. Says, Lord Brahma is speaking here. He says, following the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I create, Lord Shiva destroys, and he himself, in the form of Kirodakshay Vishnu, maintains all the affairs of the material nature. Thus, the supreme controller of the 3 modes of material nature is Lord Vishnu. That's quotation also from the 2nd canto. So, again, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes how Krishna is the Lord of the 3 Purushas, text 38 through 41. Purusha incarnations are the original cause of the material creation, so Mahavishnu, Kirodakshay Vishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Kirodakshay Vishnu are also, and then he goes on to explain how 49, text 49, he describes, he quotes Brahma Samhita. Goloka namni nijadamni tale chatasya devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu. These 3 planets, Devi Dham, Mahesh Dham, and Haridam, below the planet named Goloka Vrindavan are the planets known as Devi Dham, Mahesh Dham, and Haridam. This is quotation from Brahma Samhita. These are opulent in different ways. So in this way, since text 33, we've been hearing about the different, we just heard recently the pastime of Lord Brahma going to Dwarka, how he was asked, which Brahma are you? By Krishna's doorkeeper, and Lord Brahma was confused. He said, what do you mean, which Brahma? So that pastime is there. Krishna called all the different Brahmas and all the different controllers of so many different universes came. Lord, they offered obeisances to the Supreme Lord. So the point is that this chapter is called the opulence and sweetness of Krishna. So these are describing the different opulences of Krishna. Because understand Krishna's opulences, we can't really appreciate much his sweetness. If we can't understand how Krishna is the Lord of thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhama Sevyamanam, they're offering Krishna reverential worship to him. So unless we can understand such things, we can't really appreciate how Krishna grabs the chipped rice from his devotee Sudama Brahman. We can't understand that Krishna is the Lord of the three worlds, Lord of the three planetary systems, how he's crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So we have to understand something about the opulences of Krishna. This whole first part of the chapter has been dealing with that, how Krishna is Lord of the three worlds, the Lord of the three Purushas, the Lord of the three modes of material nature. And in this way, now we're going on to the last. All right, we'll go on to text 91. Are you ready? You can repeat after me. 91. Golokakya Gokula Mathura Dvaravati Etin Loke Krishnera Sahaje Nityastiti. Just actually in text 57, I was found out some also this Krishna. There's a statement Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Tripad Vishbhuti Krishnera Vakya Agochara. That he says that the Tripad Vibhuti, these means the spiritual worlds. They are of Krishna's. They are Vakya Agochara, means the beyond description. So he actually then, that's when he goes into the talking about the Lord Brahma's pastimes, because he says the three-fourths part of Krishna's energy is beyond our speaking power. Let us therefore hear elaborately about the remaining 1/4 of his energy. So that's when he actually is very difficult to ascertain the number of universes. Just this, the material world, the one ekpad. Ekpad means one part, and then the 3/4 is his spiritual energy. So he says that it's very difficult to talk about the 3/4 parts, the spiritual energies. So we'll talk a little bit about the Ekpad, which is the unlimited number of universes. That's when he they talked about Lord Brahma, how many unlimited Lord Brahmas came to offer obeisances to Lord Krishna. So anyway, so a little bit here he's going to talk Golokakya. It says the three lokas are Gokula, Goloka, Mathura, and Dwarka. Krishna lives eternally in these three places. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that in the Goloka planet there are three divisions, Gokula, Mathura, and Dwarka. In his incarnation as Gaura Sundar, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord, conducts his pastimes in three areas, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri, and South India, and Brajamandal, the area of Vrindavan Dham. So this is interesting that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has his place there, it's described. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, because we had one time misunderstanding. We had someone, respected sannyasi godbrother, said something that Lord Chaitanya doesn't have his place in the spiritual world, but here it's described that he has got three places, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri, which includes South India, and Brajamandal. All right, text number 92. Antaranga Purnaishvarya Purnatinadam Trinera Adishvara Krishna Swayam Bhagavan These three places are full of internal potencies, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is their sole proprietor. Purva Ukta Brahmandera Jatatikapal Ananta Vaikuntha Varana Chiralokapal Tansabara Mukuta Krishna Padapita Age Dandavata Kale Taramani Pita Lage. As previously mentioned, the jewels on the helmets of all the predominating deities of all the universes and Vaikuntha planets touched the throne and the lotus feet of the Lord when they all offered obeisances. This is Antaranga Purnaishvarya. So he's full of all opulences. Okay, Mani Pite Teka Teki Ute Jana Jani. Pitera Stuti Kare Mukuta Hena Anumani. When the gems on the helmets of all the predominating deities collide before the throne and the Lord's lotus feet, there is a jingling sound which seems like prayers offered by the helmets at Krishna's lotus feet. Text 96. Nija Chich Chakte Krishna Nitya Virajamana Chich Chakti Sampatira Sad Aishvarya Nama. Krishna is thus situated eternally in his spiritual potency, and the opulence of that spiritual potency is called Sad Aishvarya, including 6 kinds of opulence. So these 6 kinds of opulences are also exhibited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. These, just like there's pastime of strength. Someone knows pastime of strength? Lord Chaitanya showed his pastime of strength. Yeah? They started pushing the cart. Nobody could push the cart. This was after they took their lunch in the Jagannath Vallabha gardens, after Maharaj Prataprabhu offers obeisances and massage Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya came out with his devotees, and the king and all the men were trying to pull the cart, and they were unable. And then they were unable to pull the cart, and then they got some elephants to pull the cart. And the elephants couldn't pull the cart either. So Lord Chaitanya said, we'll take care of it. So him and the Lord Chaitanya and his associates, they picked up the ropes, and Lord Chaitanya went to the back of the cart and pushed with his head. And the cart started moving, and even the devotees in front of the cart were holding the rope in their hands, but the rope they weren't pulling because the cart was moving by the will of this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So next is intelligence. So intelligence is the easy one, no? Lord Chaitanya defeated the Digvijay Pandit and also Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was greatest scholar. And fame, Lord Chaitanya's fame. These are the 6 opulences of Lord Chaitanya, of Krishna, 6 opulences in full. What is an example of his fame? You know? Huh? Huh? He was traveling through Vrindavan. Hundreds of thousands of people were following. People are following him all over. And he's also mentioned that he says that Prithividyache Jatanargaradigram, that everywhere, that throughout the whole entire world, everyone would know his name. Sarvatra hoy, then wealth. What is the wealth? Oh, wealth, yes. What is the wealth? Huh?
The real wealth is Krishna Prem.
Krishna Prem, that's real wealth, yes. That was the opinion of Ramananda Roy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him when they were met on the banks of the Godavari, what is the most wealthy person? And he says, one who has Krishna Prem, he's the most wealthy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is he? He's Krishna Prema Pradayate. He's distributing this wealth to everyone, anyone and everyone. So wealth is there, fame, intelligence, strength, renunciation. Renunciation. This verse is there in the 11th canto. Sometimes they say it applies to Lord Ramchandra, but they say it also applies to Lord Chaitanya. This Chakta Sudustyaja Surepsita Rajalakshmi. Lord Chaitanya had a beautiful wife, this young. He had all these opulences. He had a young wife, and he left to Dharmishta Arya Bachasa Yada Gad Aranyam. Surepshita Rajalakshmi. That means she was not ordinary wife also. She was goddess of fortune. Sura Epshita, the goddess of the demigods. They can just hope for such opulences like that even the demigods, what to speak of ordinary people, they worship the goddess of fortune to get her favor. But Lord Chaitanya, just like we mentioned, Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrahma Sevyamanam. Krishna is being worshipped by thousands of goddesses of fortune, but he's not very much concerned about that. He gave it all up. Chakta Sudustya. Chakta means to giving up. Sudustyaja means very difficult. For ordinary people, of course, it's very difficult. Lord giving up, taking sannyasa at a young age. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very concerned. Why you're taking sannyasa? You're a young man and very attractive, and how can you maintain your sannyasa? I better teach you how to follow these sannyas principles. So he tried to teach him like that sometimes. So then, last one was there, beauty. The beauty is coming up. We're coming to a nice verse. Beauty, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he attracted the sannyasis of Kashi. This Prakashananda Saraswati was the leader of the Mayavadi sannyasis. They were all fixed in Brahman, or trying to be so-called fixed in Brahman, giving up all connection with the material world. And Lord Chaitanya, when he sat down where they washed their feet, he exhibited some his potency of beauty. Everyone became so attracted. Oh, who's this wonderful sannyasi, so effulgent? He looks like he's already Narayan. The sannyasis of Kashi, they're thinking they've become Narayan by their austerities and study of the Vedas, Vedanta. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they said, oh, he's already Narayan. Of course, they tried to teach them what is the meaning of real Narayan. So anyway, let's go on. We've got two more verses here. Next, 99. Aishwarya kahite prabhu Krishna spurti haila. Oh, we got? No. All right, one more time. 99. Aishwarya kahite prabhu Krishna spurti haila. Madhurje Majila Man Ekashloka Padila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the opulences and spiritual potencies of Krishna in this way, there was an awakening of love of Krishna within him. His mind was immersed in the sweetness of conjugal love, and he quoted the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. So here we're actually transitioning from, as the chapter title is given, the opulence and sweetness of Krishna. So we've been hearing this first part of the chapter about the opulence of Krishna. Now we're going to hear something about the sweetness of Krishna, which begins by describing his beauty in this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, again, Canto 3, Chapter 2. So we can repeat. Yanmartyalilo paikam swayoga. Yanmartyalilo paikam swayoga. Maya balam darshayata grihitam. Maya balam darshayata grihitam. Vismapanam swasya cha sobagarde. Vismapanam swasya cha sobagarde. Param padam bhushana bhushanangam. Param padam bhushana bhushanangam. Yanmartyalilo paikam swayoga. Maya balam darshayata grihitam. Vismapanam swasya cha sobagarde. Param padam bhushana bhushanangam. Anybody like to chant? Chant. Yes. Yanmartyalilo paikam sayoga. Bhushananga. Yanmartyalilo paikam sayoga. Maya balam darshayata grihitam. Vismapanam swasya cha sobagarde. Param padam bhushana bhushananga. Anybody else? All right, synonyms. Yat, that. Yat. That which. Martyalila. Pastimes in the material world. Opayikam. Just suitable for. Swa. His own. Yogamaya. Of the spiritual potency. Balam. The strength. Darshayata. Showing. Grihitam. Accepted. Vismapanam. Even producing wonder. Swasya. For himself. Cha. Also. Sobhagade. Of abundant good fortune. Param. Supreme. Padam. Abode. Bhushana. Of ornaments. Bhushana angam. The limbs of which were the ornaments. Translation. To exhibit the strength of his own spiritual potency, Lord Krishna manifested a suitable form just for his pastimes in the material world. This form was wonderful even for him, and was the supreme abode of the wealth of good fortune. Its limbs were so beautiful that they increased the beauty of the ornaments worn on the different parts of his body. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2.12 is stated in a conversation between Vidura and Uddhava. Uddhava thus begins his description of the pastimes of Sri Krishna in his form exhibited by Yogamaya. So, this is we'll read the purport here. This verse actually, looking to see where it's also quoted, other places it was quoted. It's quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Priti Sandarbha, and also by Rupa Goswami. He quotes this verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu when he begins describing the 4 characteristics of Krishna that are found only in him. This is the first verse he quotes when he's describing what is called Rupa Madhurya. How Krishna, there's 4 qualities of Krishna that distinguish him even from the different forms of Vishnu forms, how Krishna is the supreme. One of them is his transcendental, his form is so sweet, beyond any of the Vishnu forms. So he quotes, Rupa Goswami quotes this verse to prove that point. The other, of course, are the Venu Madhurya, the playing on the flute, to Krishna's playing on the flute. His associates are surrounded by loving associates. They were imbued with love of God. And what's the fourth? Huh? Childhood pastimes? I don't know. Rupa, Venu Madhurya, and his pastimes, Lila Madhurya. Childhood pastimes, okay. Yeah. Childhood, it means all of his pastimes, really. But, okay. His pastimes, Lila Madhurya. Yeah, his pastimes are not found even in the other, so sweet, his pastimes are so sweet that they can't be compared with any other person. Okay, so anyway, we're going to read the purport from the 3rd canto here, because they're very short description of this verse. So the purport in the 3rd canto is, in conformity with the Vedic hymns, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam, the personality of Godhead is more excellent than all other living beings within all the universes in the material world. He is the chief of all living entities. No one can surpass him or be equal with him in wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, or renunciation. When Lord Krishna was within this universe, he seemed to be a human being because he appeared in a manner just suitable for his pastimes in the mortal world. He did not appear in human society in his Vaikuntha feature with 4 arms, because that would not have been suitable for his pastimes. But in spite of his appearing as a human being, no one was or is equal to him in any respect in any of the 6 different opulences. Everyone is more or less proud of his opulences in this world, but when Lord Krishna was in human society, he excelled all his contemporaries within the universe. Srila Prabhupada talks about that one. They have a video clip of him speaking in that way. He says that everyone has some wealth. You have some wealth and I have some wealth, but no one can claim they have all the wealth, except someone can claim that they have all the wealth, that he is God. So when the Lord's pastimes are visible to the human eye, they are called prakat, and when they are not visible, they are called aprakat. In fact, The Lord's pastimes never stop, just as the sun never leaves the sky. The sun is always in its right orbit in the sky, but it is sometimes visible and sometimes invisible to our limited vision. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord are always current in one universe or another, and when Lord Krishna disappeared from the transcendental abode of Dwarka, it was simply a disappearance from the eyes of the people there. It should not be misunderstood that his transcendental body, which is just suitable for the pastimes in the mortal world, is in any way inferior to his different expansions in the Vaikuntha lokas. His body manifested in the material world is transcendental par excellence in the sense that his pastimes in the mortal world excel his mercy displayed in the Vaikuntha lokas. In the Vaikuntha lokas, the Lord is merciful toward the liberated or nitya-mukta living entities, but in his pastimes in the mortal world, he is merciful even to the fallen souls who are nitya-baddha, or conditioned forever. The 6 excellent opulences which he displayed in the mortal world by the agency of his internal potency, Yogamaya, are rare even in the Vaikuntha lokas. All his pastimes were manifested not by the material energy, but by his spiritual energy. The excellence of his Rasa Lila at Vrindavan and his householder life with 16,000 wives is wonderful even for Narayan in Vaikuntha, and it is certainly so for other living entities within this mortal world. His pastimes are wonderful even for other incarnations of the Lord, such as Sri Ram, Nrsimha, and Varaha. His opulence was so super excellent that his pastimes were adored even by the Lord of Vaikuntha, who is not different from Lord Krishna himself. So this, you know that verse? Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he says, do you know the verse? You got the microphone? Where you know this Sanskrit? Yeah.
It's a long verse.
What is it? What is it? You have the microphone for him or not? A very nice verse. It's describing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. What's that? Huh?
You want the whole verse?
Yeah, you can. The translation. You can explain the translation. Yeah. That's
the first line saying Raksha Daitya Kulamatang Kiyaridam. He's saying like, you know, what benefit did the world attain when the Lord came in all these incarnations and killed so many Rakshasas and demons, and then Yogadi Martriya, Margova Prakati Kritam Kiyaridam Shristyaridam Va Kiyadisam. He's talking about these processes of yoga, how great it was that Lord Kapila came and gave Samkhya and yoga, and then the Guna avatars create, Shristyaridam Va Kiyadisam, create and maintain the world. Made being you, Taranadikam, Kiyaridam, and how great is it that Lord Varaha rescued the earth? What benefit did we get there? Premod Valayama, he says this is the real benefit is Lord Chaitanya, he gave Bhaktir Vartma Karim Param Bhagavatas Chaitanya Murtim Stuma. Lord Chaitanya revealed Premod Valayama Bhaktir Vartma Karim Param Bhagavatas.
So there's no comparison, according to Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. What is the use? What benefit we get from killing? Even Srila Prabhupada says that if you have some big wind or big earthquake or lightning bolt, any demon can be killed so easily. And this yoga system and everything is there, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given everything just freely. What is that? Papi tapi jata tilo harinami udirilo tara sakshi jagai madai. That the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the evidence is there, jagai madai, that they were delivered so easily by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. They were not just delivered, they were given Krishna Prem. This is the difference between the demons. Even in Krishna's time, the demons, they were given liberation, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving them Krishna Prem. So there can't be any comparison. All these different incarnations of the Lord Therefore, Rupa Goswami gives that his opinion that Namo Mahavinyanaya, that the Mahavinyanaya means he's the most merciful. And he says his opulence was so super excellent that his pastimes were adored even by the Lord of Vaikuntha, who is not different from Lord Krishna himself. Actually, it reminds me of the after the deliverance of Jagai and Madai that's described in Chaitanya Bhagavad, the demigods they were observing this pastime, how Lord Chaitanya delivered these sinners, and there's this nice, very beautiful description how Yamaraj, he asks his secretary Chitragupta, he said, how sinful were these two, this Jagai and Madai? He said, don't ask such a question. You can't, if you have a record of their sins, you can have a big mountain of records and they'll be drowned in the ocean. They wouldn't be drowned in the ocean. So and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's so kind, he just forgave them all their offenses. He said, don't do any more. That's the qualification. He said, don't do any more. And then he gave them this Krishna prema. And when Jamaraj heard like this about how sinful they were, and he saw how they were delivered in this way, he fell down unconscious in his chariot, and all the demigods, they came there to see what's going on, what happened to Jamaraj, and they could understand that he fainted because of this pastime that took place. They started Sankirtan, and everybody became full of ecstasy. All the demigods, they started chanting and dancing, and great ecstatic kirtan describes all the different personalities that were there. Yamaraj and Narad Muni, of course, was there. Brahma, Shiva, and Indra with his thousands of eyes were all crying in ecstasy. So this is the wonderful position. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have this opportunity. Now we're getting into the description as the sweetness of Krishna will be further described in this chapter, but this is the transition from the opulence to the sweetness here with this verse. Okay. So sweetness, there's also had one other thought about the sweetness of Krishna, is that Krishna and Krishna's name, of course, is non-different. And it's described by Rupa Goswami that Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sutapya Vidya. We have a problem with our material condition, that we're afflicted with this disease called avidya. Pitopatapta rasanasya narochika. Because it's he describes that this disease of avidya means ignorance, of course. That is a disease in this material world. Oma jnana timirandasya. We were born in the darkness of ignorance. And Rupa Goswami says this ignorance is there. The ignorance of Krishna and Charitadi Sukirtanan, that Krishna Nam. He says it's just like what is called jaundice. Jaundice, when you have jaundice, rasanasya narochika, the tongue, rasana, the tongue, rochika means that you can't taste nicely. You can't taste anything nicely. You can't taste, particularly, you can't taste the sweetness of sugar. Kintadara dunidam. That he says that if you just very carefully, adara, you, with some respect, you chant anudinam every day, chanting these holy names, then swadik Karmat, Svadhi Karmat, that very gradually will get that taste. So it'll be Svadhi Karmat Bhavati Tad Gadamula Hantri, and the disease of ignorance will be destroyed. It become very, you taste that sweetness of the holy name, as we are going to hear, taste a little bit of the sweetness of Krishna in the pages of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. All right, so anything else we can say? Do you have any comments or questions or something we missed or said wrong? Oh, actually there's one other place where this verse was mentioned. This Yanmarcha Lila Upekam. That's also quoted by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Bhajan Rahasya. He says, Prasputita Name Vishmapaka Sri Murtira Mukta Bhavadaya Kriya. That when the sweetness comes, then the devotee's emotions they manifest these different emotions, and they feel enchanted by the Lord, who is himself enchanted by his own. Even Krishna, that pastime is there of Mahavishnu stole the newborn sons of the Brahman so that he could get darshan of Krishna. That's described in the 10th canto. All right, anything else? Yes? What's your name?
Drew.
Drew.
So
Hi.
thank you for this class.
Hi.
That last comment that you just made, it reminded me of how that was striking to me, that Krishna, and help me with proper understanding, like Krishna in a different incarnation was appreciating himself.
Yes.
And what that reminds me of is Lord Chaitanya, because what I've been told by other devotees is that Krishna wanted to taste like Radha's love for him,
Yes.
and wanted to experience the glories of servitude. And yeah, so that was just something that came to mind for me.
Yeah, there's pastime also in Dwarka when Krishna saw his reflection in the column. He was bewildered. He was like, "Wow, who is this personality?" He was so attracted. Yeah, these are Krishna is so sweet, but we have to understand a little bit his opulences in order to enjoy that sweetness nicely. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay. Okay. Madhumati. Turn it. It's off?
It's on.
That's on. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Well, is there any Leela where Lord Chaitanya himself is experiencing amazed by his own beauty? Because he's definitely, that was one of his weapons, his beauty. So is there any pastime like that?
Any pastime like that? Where Lord Chaitanya is amazed by his own beauty? I don't know. I can't think of anything offhand. Have anything? Anybody else think of anything?
Generally, it goes in the mood of.
Huh?
Generally, it goes in the mood of just becoming, absorbing Krishna's beauty, and they become stunned. So in that sense, he describes the place he's here. He really likes to chant his own holy names. So.
Yeah, that's yeah. In that way, he's becomes mad with his own names, chanting his own names. Yes, you have something?
I was wondering.
So there's no difference. This is
I guess.
Is that sufficient? I think it should be sufficient, really, because, I mean, not to physically do it, but he becomes mad by chanting his own names. So that's actually mentioned sometimes in, I know in Chaitanya Bhagavad, how it becomes Nija Namarase, like it's described like that.
I guess you never hear of Lord Chaitanya looking at his face and saying, "I'm so beautiful," because he's in the mood of devotee.
Huh?
Because he's in the mood of a devotee, you're not supposed to like look at yourself and say, "Oh, I'm so beautiful," even though,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because he's always absorbed in Krishna. So that, I guess maybe that's why we don't hear. Everybody else thinks he's most beautiful, but he probably doesn't look at his face in the mirror, I guess.
Most devotees don't do that. I can only think of Pundarik Bidyaniti. Pundarik Bidyaniti, who used to look in his mirror and nice with nice oil on his hair and chewing a palm. But otherwise, I think Srila Prabhupada mentioned how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur didn't even use mirror for putting on tilak. Those are actually, I think, my opinion, that is meant for our instructions, because the devotees are beautiful. Their transcendental forms are, That's also mentioned in Rupa Goswami. He says that you see some so-called defect in the devotees, not a defect. It's just like the foam in the Ganga. All right. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya.